Let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop sucking! That's the signal! Go! Fits! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Radio show powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Tuesday. It is the 2nd of September. Yes, if you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, on the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for dialing us in this morning. Hello there, YouTubers. Good to have you here with us watching this morning. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Also, like this video and start leaving your comments in the comment section. Already lots of people participating in the group chat. You can follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Good morning, Ross Peterson. How you doing there, buddy?
I had my mic muted there for a second. Sorry about that. Doing great. How are you?
You know,
you look good.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sitting in Savannah, Georgia right now. I'm at the poolside deck of the Residence Inn, and it's kind of chilly here in Savannah. We pulled in last night, and it was a beautiful night, an interesting night. I'm going to get to that in a second. But today's move-in day. We're going to move Greta into her dorm room right around, 11 o'clock. Local times will be 10 o'clock this morning. So, you know, it's those moving things. And finally, I'll be able to see out the back window of my expedition. I haven't even been able to see out the back window for the last couple days. So I'll be able to see out of the back window.
Can I ask it, because you got some fun stuff to talk about, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's do the heavy real quick here and get it out of the way. What do you anticipate this afternoon, man, when you drop off G-Money? That's the last one. Do you think that this drive home is going to feel different than the others, Trav?
Well, most definitely. Because and we're not leaving till Thursday, so that's good.
Okay.
But it's going to be the echo's back. See, yeah, it's okay. I'll deal with it. YouTubers may get annoyed by it, but it's going to be different. But I was happy on the way down, because she was excited. She got her syllabus. She got all sorts of stuff that she was talking about. And it was like, okay, cool. She's ready. As long as she's ready for us to leave, I'll be happy about that.
That's a good answer, buddy. That's a really good answer. It's the right answer. I like, and not that I knew the right answer, but you say that, and what a smart thing for a parent has been through it 4 times and maybe been thinking about it for a while. Good compartmentalization there, dude.
I think the hard thing is going to be Anjanette and I have to learn how to live together again. It's been 29 years since we actually been together. So it's going to be one of those things like, oh my God, what do we do? How do we get along? All that stuff.
Did I just turn my mic? Does that help at all if I do anything on my end?
Yeah, that helped a lot. Are you there?
All right. Yeah, I'm here. I'll just, when I'm not talking, I'll try to mute my mic and see if that takes your echo away in any way.
That's weird that's what's happening, huh? It didn't, and I'm wondering if it's the Wi-Fi signal, because we didn't have this problem yesterday, and I was on a different Wi-Fi. Here I'm on a hotel Wi-Fi, and it may just be the strength and all the other stuff. But I do have a story for you, and I want to say this. First of all, you were one of the first ones to tell me when we talk about window time. You know, window time in a car can it's good and yet it's bad. On Sunday, I had 12 hours of window time. Yesterday, Ross, I had 9.5 hours of window time. So 21.5 hours in a car over a 2-day period. And let me tell you, when I pulled into Savannah yesterday, I was about going stir crazy. I was about at my wit's end. And window time is good for maybe 8 hours. And even the 12 hours on Sunday wasn't bad. Yesterday, ooh, buddy. I tell you.
Well, what do you mean? What happened?
No,
Just
it's
got in your
just
head?
it's you're going stir crazy, right? You're just like, okay, can we get there? Can we get there? Can we get there? And when we left Water Valley, it was one of those things where you're like, okay, we got 8.5 hours. Well, for the first time ever, Google Maps was like wrong. It was 9.5 hours, and I had to drive through Macon, Georgia. I had to drive through Atlanta, Georgia, and Atlanta was pretty busy even for Labor Day. But it was just like, okay, I've spent enough time in a car. I'm gonna need some time.
All right. So Google Maps was off by an hour. What did Atlanta slow you down that much, or?
Yeah, there were a couple of construction things, and then a couple car wrecks that slowed you down, and it was like, But we got here, and we were uber hungry because the only thing I had to eat was a stick of beef jerky. I went with the protein, right? So I had a stick of beef jerky. So Anjanette, we're about 2 hours out of Savannah. She goes, should I have pizza delivered to the hotel? And I'm like, yeah, thinking that's fine. We'll just eat when we get here. And she's like, okay, I'm going to order right now. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, I'm going to schedule the delivery through Grubhub or another one of those delivery services. So she buys the pizza, buys some other things, and she goes, okay, it's going to get delivered at 8:50. At 8:50, and Mark's here early.
Very nice.
Yeah, I didn't know he was coming in this early.
Going to get a feel for the show. I hope he's familiar.
Yeah, exactly. We had him scheduled for 7:30. Getting in at 6 o'clock is really.
That's all right. That's all right. You can hang out.
But I want to say this. So we ordered Grubhub, and the food didn't show up. But we watched the driver get there and pick it up. What happened was, Ross, he went in, didn't tell the pizza place that he was picking up. He took our food and shut off the app, and then went away with our food.
What?
Yes. We spent the next hour trying to get our order, and the pizza place did not want to give us food.
Well, yeah, they'd already made their food. Yeah, they're out. They did their part, right?
Yeah.
You're the one who used a third party system that you trusted, and you pay. I mean, I'm not defending. I'm not trying to defend. I'm just thinking of it through that business's logic. And you were a small business owner. You know that. You understand that too. So wait, now did you use Grubhub or did you use DoorDash, or do you remember what one it was?
I don't remember because Anjanette set it all up. So it was one of those things where, and now I'm getting hangry. I'm getting really, really, really hungry.
Now you're pissed.
Yes.
Yeah, it's compounded. Yeah.
And all I wanted, I told Anjanette, I either want food or I want our money back because they didn't want to give our money back either. And I'm like, listen, if I didn't get food, I want my money back. And I agree, it's not on the pizza place. It's on the app.
Right.
And but it took an hour, and finally it was I think it was Grubhub said, here's the deal. You can either have a full refund or you can we'll replace the order for you and bring you food. I'm like, bring me food. I'm freaking hungry. Do you ever has that ever happened to you?
I don't use those. Eli had a few times. Eli has asked if he could do that. He'll be someplace or I'm not home, and he's like, "Hey, I don't want ham sandwiches. Can I order something?" So, but I've never done that. Man, dude, I'm amazed it doesn't happen more often. I had this realization the other day, man. I walked out of a store. Today is Audrey's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to my birthday. Right. And I'm doing some birthday shopping, and I walk out of one of those stores, and it's all, we've all seen like Play It Again Sports, or you walk outside of a convenience store and there's the pallets of water, or you get out by your gas pump and there's the pallet of firewood or whatever, right? Or windshield washer fluid. I've never stolen any of that stuff in my life. But I think I walk out and I have this thing in my head of like, these idiots. People are just going to walk away with that stuff. Why Why do I think people are going to do that at some sort of massive rate? Why do I think that about people? I don't do that. Why do I think other people are just out here stealing stuff like that? Just like with Grubhub and DoorDash and stuff like that. My instinct is like, well, yeah, that has to happen all the time. It doesn't. It's very rare. Very, very, very rare. You can absolutely trust those things. In fact, we have 1,000 people that listen to this show that use that every day. And they're going to hear this story and go, oh, yeah, that happened to me one time years ago, or that's never happened to me in the years I've used those apps. But you say that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I bet this happens all the time. When you reached out to Grubhub, what was their whichever app it was? I don't mean to, but when you reached out to them, what was their reaction?
Well, here was the confusion with Grubhub. Because the driver never said he picked up the food, they kept sending drivers to pick up the food. 4 different drivers kept showing up going, hey, where's this order? Where's this order? Where's this order? And the restaurant's like, they picked it up. No, it says it hasn't been picked up. 4 different people went to pick it up, and there was no food there. And they're like, so we called the pizza place. They're like, we're not going to make you a new order. It's been picked up. So it was, and you know when you're getting hangry, and I was kind of, when I was getting hangry, means I get kind of mean to my wife, and I'm like, this is what you get for ordering 2 hours in advance. You order, if you're going to order a pizza, just order it, and it can be more reliable. But we made up. It wasn't as
we made up.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But yeah. Didn't Bill Blank used to deliver some Grubhub or something like that? Wasn't he? Didn't he do that during COVID?
Oh, that could be during COVID. He was. Oh yeah. In fact, he did it for Fongs. He was delivering for Fongs for a short period of time when he couldn't get on stage, so he had to pay his mortgage somehow. Yeah, I think that he did do something. I have a buddy, one of my good friends, Johnny Mick, does DoorDash. Yeah, just not something I've ever utilized. I try, and when what I would say, I could see myself getting angry and having a reaction and a response and saying something mean and stupid, not necessarily like, ruin the trip dumb, ruin a relationship dumb, but I could, ruin a couple of hours. And I could see my thing is, if I'm going to go to a place like that, I want to eat there. What the hell are we doing? We're going to eat in our hotel room? Why did you? That was a stupid idea anyway. There, see what I did? See, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I guess I'll just sit here and look at my phone for the next hour.
Yeah, because I look to place blame. Instead of blaming Grubhub, I blame my wife, and it's like, hey, this is your fault.
Yeah,
you ordered early. This is all your fault.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was my interesting entrance into Savannah last night. But all is good. We replaced the order. We got food, and somebody else got to eat really well, too. And I just can't – see, I don't understand people like that because I don't think like that. Like, oh, my God, I'm so hungry. I'm just going to take somebody else's food and call it a night.
You see, and that's, again – this is reminding me of this conversation I had the other day with myself and with Courtney, by the way, because I was with her and I'm like, wait, why do I think this? Why do I think this must happen all the time? When the proof is in the pudding, it doesn't happen all the time. And if it does, it's not enough that the businesses are like, all right, well, we got to stop putting the windshield washer fluid out there.
Coming up a little
Play it
bit
against
later.
sports. It makes sense to play it against sports because you walk up there and there's like some athletic 23-year-old kid behind the counter looking out the glass at you. You're like, oh yeah, somebody tried to grab a kayak and run through the parking lot. They're going to get rocked.
Coming up a little bit later on in the show, we saw him pop up earlier. I think he was just testing his link to make sure that it worked. But Mark Scharnberg is going to be joining us, and this is going to come up at 7:30. I'm actually looking forward to this conversation. No, I know it's Cyhawk week. I know we're going to talk about Iowa and Iowa State, but the school year started yesterday for Iowa United. It is a prep school. It is a basketball prep school. They have 2 teams. They're sponsored by Nike. And this facility is absolutely amazing. And Ross, you sent me a video, and I've seen a couple other videos regarding it. It's crazy the facility that this team is going to have.
I am. If you haven't seen the YouTube video of it, KCCI did a story, and that started to float around in one of my friend groups, Trav, of like, hey guys, have you seen? We knew this thing was coming up. This Iowa United. I want to tell people most of my preconceived notions have been wrong. Most of them, including where this all the genesis of all this. Because in my mind, when I first heard about it, I'm like, somebody with a lot of money is coming in from out of state and just kind of, using the name of Iowa and using Des Moines and kind of a wholesome reputation to probably do some nefarious stuff. I didn't imagine, because I remember when the idea was pitched, it was like, well, this is going to be like an ING academy. I was like, yeah. Guys, you have to see this place. When I say unbelievable, it's a 25-minute video that is jaw-dropping. KCCI did a 30-minute. Local news can only do so much. Everybody knows this. It's limited to very quick hitter. 30 seconds. Here's the information you need to know. If you want to learn more, learn more. This video, it's called, like, do you remember what the YouTuber, because it's a very big YouTuber. Remember what his name is, Trav? I'll see if I can get to it real quick. So sorry. No, this is fun. It's All Hail Cullen. All Hail Cullen is the name of the YouTuber. And he is a huge basketball YouTuber.
And the name of the video. And I'm echoing.
Ross, if you want
to. Is inside Iowa's most expensive high school. So
it's only echoing when I have my mic on.
Well, turn your mic off.
Turn your mic off real quick.
Yeah, now it's echoing.
Again. Okay, then it's not that. All right, that's right. So yeah, inside Iowa's most expensive high school, Iowa United basketball is in parentheses on the backside of it. And so lots of confusing things to me. I, first of all, am an idiot. We know this. What's a prep school? What does that mean? Because this says Iowa's most expensive high school. Iowa's most expensive high school? They just built. Wait, we've had a couple brand new high schools that were multi-million-dollar facilities for 4 grades housing thousands of kids. You're telling me that an academy is Iowa's most expensive high school? You've got to see this video. You've got to see the amount of land and facilities and what they're providing for these kids. And really, so we just need to back up. And what's the goal of this? I can't wait for this conversation because I've got more curious today looking at this stuff. It's wild.
IMG Academy is
a prep school.
And that costs money.
To go there. So
what it may be in the most expensive high school may be tuition. If there is a tuition, or whatever that costs. And who covers that? But these are going to be questions that we ask.
Yeah.
But Mark Sharmberg is going to be joining us. At
7:30,
and I'm looking forward to this conversation
because the facilities are better than most Division I colleges. It's wild. It's all I can say. You have to see it to believe it, and people are asking where it's at. I don't really know. They say it's on the south side. They say south side of Des Moines. I haven't seen the actual building. And even the videos, I mean, it's like parts unknown. And maybe Mark will say that same thing. Like, no, part of this is we want to have some privacy. We don't want people to know where these kids are going to be, because if this thing goes right, you're going to have some serious talent. Like high-profile athletes are going to be hanging out in Des Moines.
I saw one report to where
like
50
college coaches are supposed to be in Des Moines
the first week of September
just to look at these kids. So yeah, we can talk more about that when he joins us in an hour or so, because wild. But we'll maybe post the link or something for people if they want to check out that All Hail Cullen deep dive into it. You need to see it.
Very much so.
Very much
the
so.
College football
the
season
college
kicked
football season kicked off for Bill Belichick last night, Ross, and it was a rude awakening to college football for Bill Belichick. The North Carolina Tar Heels got blown out by TCU 48-14, and Belichick, I'm sure is like, oh, this college game's a little different than the NFL. Yeah, well, he's taking over. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Getting back on here. Unbelievable. He's taking over. He's got a firestorm of distractions around him as he takes over a team that he's got to try to rebuild and figure out and get back into recruiting and hire new staff. That we should have expected. His quarterback was from South Alabama, something like that, right? First of all, give it time. Second of all, what were the expectations? They played opening game against a tough team. Weren't they? They were favored, though, I think, right? Going into this game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm in my Scott Frost era with Bill Belichick, meaning I'm rooting against him. I hope it fails for him. I kind of hope it fails in spectacular fashion for some reason. It's so weird, man. 5 years ago or whenever that was that, now it was 10 years ago, right? I would have told you when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick divorce, it will be Bill Belichick that has all the success. Tom Brady will have to bow to the ring. It's the other way around. I think Bill Belichick has to look around and go, oh, man, I really had the right system in place there, didn't I? I had the right people around me. I had the right guy that believed in me above me, and I had all the right pieces in place around me. Maybe it's time for some contrition and some thanks to some other people. I don't think that happens. Bill freaking Belichick.
You're right.
It is the
first game of the year.
But do you think
North Carolina fans
right now are thinking buyer's remorse? Because you're really excited you get Bill Belichick. You're like, okay, we've got one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time.
But there's got to be
some oh my God, what did we just do? We got the 70-year-old guy. How committed is he going to be?
Is this just
a failed experiment? And then you get blown out. Because it's hard to, I was going to, when you talk about the expectation, not meaning, are you having that buyer's remorse? It's hard to compare this to something here that we've been through, because Hawkeye fans can say, oh yeah, this is what it felt like when Cade McNamara got hurt before he started. Kinda, maybe. I mean, I don't know. This is a different level of we brought in Bill freaking Belichick. Here we go. This is gonna, and then the opening game you get destroyed. You look like you don't belong on the field with a team that you were favored over.
They only rushed for
50 yards.
50 yards. Yeah, 220 yards of 222 yards of total offense, 3 turnovers, in what was just an embarrassing opener. And I think what adds to it, Ross, you've got the kind of that special college game day experience that they wanted to have, the coronation of Bill Belichick, and man, it's a rough beginning.
It's funny because Travis, you said they ran for 50 yards, and like, well, didn't seem like they threw the ball that much either. Well, they did. I mean, you combine what Johnston and Lopez did, they were 13 of 21. But, dude, they only ran 49 plays. That's some Iowa numbers. They ran 49 plays in a college football game. That's pretty low.
If Bill Belichick has a losing record this year, does he stick around for year 2? Or is it...
UNC was the dog, Kirk says.
Okay.
Okay. That's. I didn't know if they were. For some reason I was thinking they were favored going into that game. But thanks, Kirk.
Does he last longer than a year if they have a losing record?
Let's go look at North Carolina's. They play at Charlotte. They host Richmond. You better be 2-1, right?
Better be.
Charlotte and Richmond, you got to win those two games. Here's what it looks like in conference, dude. No, you don't fire him with a losing record. I'll just tell you that up front. Because let's just roll through this real quick. And none of these. One of these is a world beater. So here's what it goes. UCF, that's probably a loss. Hosting Clemson, that's a loss. Play at Cal at 9:30 at night. That's going to be a tough game. Not the opponent, the travel. You're coming off of losses to UCF and Clemson. Then they play at home against Virginia. They play at Syracuse. They host Stanford. They play at Wake Forest. They host Duke, and they play at NC State. Who knows? The back half of that schedule, who knows how good they're getting? Who knows what those teams look like? But just the front half of that schedule that we can actually look at right now. And again, don't fall into that fan thing, my dumb brain of what we saw last night is what we're going to see. It's Bill Belichick. He's going to coach these guys up. He'll get them better, right? But let's just keep that in mind as we look. They're going to be 2-1 going against UCF and Clemson. So there you go to 2-3. You got a losing record as you go to Cal. Now you're probably 2-4. Virginia, Syracuse, Stanford, Wake, Duke, NC State. Back half of that schedule is where it's going to matter. I think even with a losing record, Trav, they probably give him time.
Or if he wants time. I mean, that's a bigger question to ask. Because if he wants time, if he goes, this ain't for me.
How about this? My buddy TJ, who is he's a big UNC fan, and he just wrote me a text. He's like, "Hey, UNC fan, checking in. First game of the season against a big name team that's not far removed from playing for a national title. You've got to give this 2 or 3 years before you hold his feet to the fire." So that's why I say even a losing record this year, if you're showing progress, I think to TJ's point here, I think TJ would even say, allow me an exit door if things get really weird and really ugly, because Bill Belichick doesn't need this. So if something happens, if you have some sort of scandal that breaks, and I don't mean Jordan, I don't mean kicking his girlfriend up on the beach, dude. Did you see that picture, by the way?
I did not.
Of him laying on the beach, holding her up in the air with his feet. And now they've turned it into, I saw a picture yesterday of a North Carolina tailgate, and it has a Jordan flag hanging up, a white flag with the navy blue Jordan up the top. But it doesn't say Jordan. It says DON, like her name. And instead of it being a silhouette of the jump man, it's a silhouette of Bill Belichick holding her up in the air on the beach. So I think that there's a UNC fan checking in saying, this is going to take some time. Our expectations are not Nebraska. Our expectations are certainly not, anywhere like that. Give this time. But I would say be smart enough to leave an exit ramp, because this thing could end quick. He could decide, I'm done. There could be a health issue.
True.
Jordan might get pregnant. We got a little baby Belichick coming. I'm gonna have to. I got to focus on family, guys. I can't. I apologize to all these young men.
That would be priceless. That would be priceless. Because, she's 24, right? She's going to have a baby.
She's going to have a baby. That's a good point. And his clock's ticking.
No, it's not. You can shoot those sperms out, no problem, right? I mean, Tony.
Every time he goes to the doctor, he's like, "This could be bad news here."
I think he's going to one of those male clinics to make sure his testosterone's at a really good level.
I think he probably had been.
You're probably right.
You're probably right.
No phone calls today, so we apologize about that. But I don't want to drain any more of the Wi-Fi. We're going to take a break, come back, and continue the conversation. As Cyhawk Week is in full gear, we're going to hear from Kirk Ferentz and Matt Campbell today, and we can talk about some of the keys to victories for both those teams to get ready for the in-state rivalry, the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
The heat of summer is here. Have you had your vehicle safety inspected lately? With any service at Willis Chevy, we include a free multi-point inspection along with a video multi-point inspection. Our GM certified technicians will check your fluids, tires, suspension, brakes, and everything else underneath your vehicle. Come see us today for your inspection to make sure your vehicle is ready for that road trip or ready for the kids to go back to school. Schedule online today at willischevy.com.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Mark your calendar for September 16th. That's when you want to go to Willis Automotive as they display their brand new cars. It's going to be a hell of a night. Stadium-themed food, live music, drinks, and really cool cars with that new car smell, the new car look. You name it, it's going to be awesome, Ross.
I'm genuinely looking forward to that, man. That's it's cool to be around those things. It's cool to be around the latest technology. Travis, it's cool to be around people that are passionate about something like that. And when you are around, when you're around the Willis building, that's something that you can definitely pick up on. The people there love what they're doing, and this is a chance for them to kind of showcase that passion with you. It's very cool.
The Reverend says, when is it? And I'm like,
it's in October, Ray. I think October 15th, 37th, something like that. 37th.
Yeah.
October 37th. It's a third Monday. Hey, real quick. Last night, a Rudy moment happened. A movie moment happened. When I described this to you, and for folks that watched it and knew the story, because the game was over, something happened last night that Disney can literally grab a hold of, dude. Max Johnson last year broke his leg in the season opener. His leg was broke so bad they thought for a while he might lose his leg. Max Johnson is the son of former NFL quarterback Brad Johnson, former Super Bowl winning quarterback Brad Johnson. This is his son, Max. Broke his leg so bad they thought he might have to lose his leg. Ended up obviously not losing his leg. Starts this season as the backup quarterback for Bill Belichick's UNC Tar Heels. Last night, starter gets hurt. Max Johnson has to come in, ends up throwing a touchdown in the final drive. Game's over, obviously, to his brother.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a Disney moment.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Hey,
And think about it. Think about in the movie. Think about the grizzled. Who'd they hire? Oh, no. It's Bill Belichick. And it's like, it's Randy Quaid all grizzled up.
Who would play Bill Belichick in a movie?
You could really, who I just thought of? Who you put old face on Matt Damon is what you do. And you make him mad and talk like this. That's what they do.
Old face Matt Damon.
Yeah, I remember the end. I remember Saving Private Ryan when he fades into the old man.
Yeah.
That's Bill Belichick.
You might be onto something there.
Listen, I don't do this for free. Okay. Yeah.
Because there will be a movie made about Bill Belichick at some point.
It wasn't the final drive. Start of the fourth, Brett says. So, but very cool story. In the movie, they're going to make it the final drive, Brett. In the movie, it's going to be a game winning. So just buckle up for the movie version. But it was a cool moment. Anyway, and I knew you had other stuff to go here. So I wanted to mention that because somebody, right as we signed off, somebody said, hey, the Max Johnson story is a really cool one. I said, oh, yeah. Anyway, there we go.
Of course, it is Cyhawk Week. We're going to hear from Matt Campbell. We're going to hear from Kirk Ferentz today. Gearing up for one of the most exciting weeks in the state of Iowa. Two most exciting weeks are State Fair Week and maybe Cyhawk Week. What do you think we hear from Kirk Ferentz today? Because he's going to be pummeled with questions about Mark Gronowski. I mean, that's going to be the focus of the news conference.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what we're going to hear from Kirk Ferentz. Listen, we played a tougher opponent on Saturday than we thought. There were obviously some nerve issues early on in the game. That's what happens when you come out of that tunnel and you've got that adrenaline coursing through you. You got to give this young man time. If you don't think he can throw a football, watch any tape of him ever. He's a good quarterback. We don't know what to expect Saturday because Iowa State's going to be the best team that we've played by leaps and bounds. They're going to be way better than Albany. They're way more prepared than we are after 2 games of doing this. They've got an additional 50 hours of work that we don't have done yet. So we're going to have to play our best football on Saturday. Going to have to play a lot better than we did against Albany. But I do want to tip my hat and say that was a much better defense than we anticipated to play, and they came in prepared.
I think it's safe to say. When you look at this game, you compare the Albany game and coming up for Iowa State. I was going to have to be a lot more balanced. I mean, that's stating the obvious, right? I mean, they're going to have to. If they only throw for 44 yards, they're not going to win the football game. They've got to find some balance between pass and run.
You've got to throw the ball better. Is that I think is it? Yeah. But Travis,
yeah.
You know, I think those things because they're cliches, and you go, yeah, you got to have a more balanced attack, and then I realize there are ways that these games fall when the starting quarterback has 45 yards of offense. If the Hawkeye defense is fantastic and has 3 turnovers and scores on 2 of those turnovers, they don't need Mark Gronowski. They need to hand the ball off 250 times and win the football game, right? So there's ways. It just takes all of these other things. If Gronowski isn't better on against Iowa State than he was against Albany, then you're going to have that. And which, by the way, that's a huge bridge. That's a huge bridge. You're going to have to be better against a far superior opponent. That's a tough task, but I don't think that's Kirk Ferentz doesn't talk about any of that stuff today. I don't think he says that exactly. Like expectations are big this weekend. I think what he says is, we got the right guy, and you guys watch. He's going to be just fine.
This could be an interesting game in the fact that this could come down to special teams. We're talking punt returns, we're talking kick returns, we're talking field goals, and we didn't talk a lot about it on Saturday and during the Black and Gold Rush. But both Iowa State and Iowa have kickers that can boom the ball, and Tyler Kluver talked about this a little bit about how coaches are getting a more. They're willing to take chances at 60 yards, at 57 yards. The kickers could end up being a major part of this game.
And what Tyler was saying, I think, is that these kickers have always had this amazing ability. These guys have always been able to connect from 60 yards. It's just that coaches weren't willing to try it in the game. Travis, I wonder if the kick 6. Remember the Auburn-Alabama kick 6. Alabama goes to win a game with like a 58-yarder or 60-yarder late in the game. Auburn sets up to return the field goal and wins the game. Do you remember what I'm talking about there?
Yep.
So is that the type of thing that makes coaches around the country go, I am not trying this? There's too much. In fact, when Iowa State, when they attempted the 63-yarder the other day, South Dakota set up to return it. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
They didn't go after to block it. As soon as it was hiked, all like 8 of the dudes on the line backed up to the right, and they were setting up a return right along the South Dakota sideline. And so Cromartie drills it with like 8 yards to spare. Special teams, turnovers, Travis, it seems like in these close games when it's this tight on paper, when Vegas, which, by the way, this is an interesting thing. It's a 3-point line like we talked about yesterday. Traditionally, Jack Trice Stadium is a 3 to 4 point advantage. So on a neutral site, Vegas thinks this game would be, maybe reach out to Spreitzer about that for us at some point, because on a neutral site, does that mean that Vegas thinks that this would be a pick'em game?
Yeah.
It does. How does that? I know I'm blind. I know that these Coke bottles lie to me sometimes, right? What? Just shows how dumb I am. Because I watch those two teams and I'm like, well, Iowa State is a better team on a neutral side. Iowa State's going to win that game by 10.
Can I throw out a dumb idea? I'm going to throw out a dumb idea. And this is going down a rabbit hole and a conversation I never thought I would have. But, watching the 63-yarder, watching Drew Stevens hit a 55-yarder, the three-point shot has fundamentally changed basketball, right? I mean, it's interesting. You know where I'm going here, right? Do you, at certain yard marks, change the amount of points given for a field goal? It's always been 3 points. So if you go from 50, it's worth 4. If you go from 55, it's worth so much. If you go from 63, you get more points. Or is that just a really, really dumb idea to encourage? Because we heard Tyler Kluver say it. There's been guys who could easily go from 65. He watched 70-yarders in practice. Not saying that coaches would do it, but you change the it's risk reward. You're like, okay, I got a guy that can I think he can go from 65. Let's give this, and if he does, let's give him 5 points instead of 3. Is that a crazy idea to add a little wrinkle to strategy? You're laughing at me like you're an idiot.
It's a fantasy football idea. This is the type of stuff, and I'm not being a smart ass here. This is literally the type of stuff that you do in fantasy football. You're like, man, I feel like my guy should get more points for a 50-yarder. And then you go, okay, well, let's do, you guys, everybody put your hand up. You guys okay with 4 points for 50-yarders? It would drastically, dude, it would add a lot of strategy. Now, to that point, shouldn't there be a 4-point line in basketball? We already have a 3-point line. Why not add another arc and then a 5-point arc? Why not have the little circle in the center of the court could be the same in every court, and that could be like a 10-point circle or something. And then we just have dudes constantly shooting from half court. And football, it would add a lot of. I mean, think of the strategy that could add in those last minute drives. Like, well, they've got him. They're down 4. Well, I don't know, Jim. They're down 4. They're gonna have to. Do they go for the 5-pointer, Jim? If they can complete another pass and get into that 3-point range, do they tie the game? Their kicker can kick. Like, it would add a lot.
Too gimmicky, though?
Here's one. Is it gimmicky? How about on, because they want to get rid of kick returns? How about this? If the kicker can, on the kickoff, if the kicker can put the ball through the uprights, that could be worth 1 point. Because that way you're encouraging the kicker to kick the ball as far as he can and get it out of the back of the end zone. And hell, let's add something. Let's add some fun to it here, right? At some point, we can just get rid of the line, because we just play 4-on-4. Because really, it's more like pass interception, and then at some point, we just bring the kicker out and see how far they can kick it from.
The wind conditions need to be right. There needs to be a lot of things that fall into place. We saw Iowa State kick a 63-yarder. We saw Drew Stevens go for 55, and he cleared that. That was good from 65, maybe. Do we see Matt Campbell and Kirk Ferentz gamble a little more when it comes to the long field goals? No. Again, I want to be clear. Like, they both just did, right? They both just last weekend. They both just allowed their kickers to launch from the 50-yard line. One of them beyond it. Are they more likely to do that? Yeah, if you've got I guess sure. If you've got a kicker that can do it and has proven they can do it, but are Kirk Ferentz and Matt Campbell more likely to gamble? I think that's the wrong way to put it, because no is the answer to that. They're both going to play a safe football game. They're both going to play the odds. The idea here, I think, is like the idea is to just
continue to show them that the odds are in their favor to hit those long field goals. Put points on the board rather than not. That's a Kirk Ferentz and Matt Campbell model right there. That now you're speaking their language. You mean I can get points on the board rather than give the other team, rather than just give the other team the ball? Yeah, let's do that option. But gamble is the wrong way. Neither one of them are going to gamble.
It'd be fun to watch the game because they'll be able to now. You know how TV puts the little ray chyron up to the field goal range. They're going to be like at the 45-yard line, like, oh, they're in field goal range now. You're like, God dang, that's a long field goal.
Honestly, you can get, with that sort of leg power, you can get there with a kick return. You can get there with a kick return. Got 9 seconds. You need a field goal to tie a game or win a game. Both of these teams are in a position where get a couple of blocks, get to midfield, launch a field goal. That's cool.
Man, I like the kicking game.
What?
It adds. This is the most we've talked about a kicking game in a long, long time. But you know, that's just not the other part of the special teams. I mean, Caden Weegan had a couple decent punt returns. He could definitely be a factor coming up on Saturday in this if they let him return. If I'm Iowa State, do you kick the Caden Weegan? Do you say, hey, we're not going to let special teams beat us here. We're not going to give him the opportunity.
And listen, I'm not just trying to ride the fence here. Both of these teams have electric returners.
Yeah.
And Iowa State, Iowa State had a punt return for a touchdown that got called back because of a penalty. So, but like I said, both of these teams are in a position where you've got return teams that are electric, returners that can bust big plays, and they're ready to do that. So, I think you're right. Special teams. Those big plays, turnovers, that's what's going to play a factor in a close game like this. That's why I paused and went back to that Jack Trice thing, because this game is going to be really tight. Not just Vegas seeing it as 3 points. It's messing with my eyes because I didn't see Iowa as a team against Albany on Saturday that's going to go in and play at Jack Trice, against a team that I've seen play really well twice.
And see, that's where
play good and then great.
That's where I'm guilty, is that, you know, I'm a reactionary guy, and I rarely make snap judgments, right? So I've watched Iowa State twice, watch them just crush South Dakota. I'm like, this team's superior. You watch Iowa against Albany, you're like, this is the best you got? You can't throw the football? There's no way you're going to beat Iowa State. You're going to get blown out. I make those snap decisions. And I make those snap judgments, and I should learn over time. But Ross, I never learn over time. I always do that.
Yeah, yep. Like all of us. Don't know what to add to that.
We're all guilty of it. All guilty.
Period.
Man. Coming up at 7:30, Mark Sharnberg is going to be joining us. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, but Iowa United is a prep basketball school that has some of the best facilities in the country. We're going to talk to Mark about that and what he's trying to accomplish with this, and really bring some of the best basketball talent, not from Iowa, but from around the country, to participate in this Iowa United League. And I tell you what, it's like summer camp on steroids is what it is. I mean, they've got ATVs, they've got amazing court, amazing facilities. That's going to be fun to talk about. But Ross, yesterday we learned that Trey Thompson, a 17-year-old who reclassified in basketball at the University of Iowa, has been cleared to practice for the University of Iowa. So when Ben McCollum started recruiting him in May, the other schools after him, Tennessee, Kansas, UConn, Purdue, those are pretty good schools, right? But Ben McCollum came in with a different strategy. He said, hey, you could reclassify now, and you could be playing right away. And that was a different sales pitch that he got than from other schools. He liked what that sounded like, said, okay, I'll graduate school early, but he needed to finish high school. He needed to get everything cleared, so he was okay to do like workouts from a weightlifting standpoint. But the NCAA has cleared him. He's now going to be practicing, and at 17 years old, getting ready to play Big Ten basketball. That's pretty cool.
Good get for Ben McCollum. And this is, I mean, for Hawkeye fans, if there was one hesitation, I think with Ben McCollum, this could have been it. And I'm being very real here. If Hawkeye fans were being honest with themselves and honest in those conversations with their friends, it was, hey, this guy was recruiting at a whole different level, like last year. I mean, look at the guys that he's bringing in were initially recruited as like, 0-star guys type of thing. And he saw that talent at that level and coached him up. Can he get guys that can play at this level? This isn't the first one, by the way, but I do think that this is the type of stuff that Hawkeye fans see and go, yeah, sweet. He is the right guy. And Travis, on the heels of the thing we were talking about yesterday with him being at the game on Saturday, on the heels of him, it's PR wins on top of real hang your hat stuff. So I love it. It's great.
What I like about Thompson is he's not trying to oversell himself. He said that he goes, I'm not going to dazzle you. Here he is, 17 years old, highly recruited, comes in and goes, I'm not going to kill you with my athleticism. He goes, I'm pretty athletic. He goes, but I'm not a guy that's going to have a 55-inch vertical. He goes, I like to pass the ball. I like to see. He actually used the words, and we talked about this with Caitlin Clark and her passing ability. He goes, sometimes the game is just slow motion to me, meaning here's a cliche. It's that basketball IQ, though, right? He goes, I'm not going to be one that's going to, jump out of the gym. He goes, I shoot pretty well for my size, but he just seems like a very smart basketball player.
I'm sure he does. I don't care about the game can be slow for you in high school. You're 17 coming into the Big Ten. I don't care about I want to be clear here. Trey Thompson is a recruit. There's potential there. He's a penny stock. He's not your retirement plan, right? So hopefully something works out. That's not what I'm happy about here. What I'm happy about is the significance of it. That Ben McCollum is beating out those other names that you mentioned. That's the significant part of this. This kid's a recruit. He might not ever play for Ben McCollum. He might not ever be a star. He might not be a starter. We don't know. We have no idea. And that's all on Trey Thompson. He's going to have to figure that part out. What I like as a Hawkeye fan is that the coach is in these conversations, winning these conversations, coming up with some creative ideas. I already know the dude can coach basketball. I already know that once he gets the talent, I think they're going to be fine. My only concern or pause was, man, can he recruit at this level? And this is another example of ding, yes. But as far as Trey Thompson and I don't want to hear a 17-year-old kid talk about his. I don't care. I'm not, and I don't want that to be rude. Does that come across rude?
No, I know. I guess I look at it the other way. You hear a lot of kids who do the brag about themselves. Do the fancy, when they announce their thing, hat, just kind of make it about themselves. I look at it as kind of a humbleness out of a player that maybe you don't see in some kids. And that's the way I look at it. I'm with you. You got to prove it to me on the court, just like you got to prove it to me on the field. But I think you can get an idea about somebody's attitude and maybe approach to the game over trying to say, hey, I'm going to be.
And Trav, I do like it better than you guys wait till you see me.
Yes.
You wait. You've never seen a guy dunk like me before. That we have.
Just got a text from Brooks Reynolds. He says he'll buy me dinner at Providence if I jump in the pool. Not happening, Brooks. Not happening.
Do you know what he just offered you? Dinner at Providence. You know what he just offered you?
What?
There's a high dollar value there, my friend. Let's just say that.
Really?
And that's the place that bought we thought it was 15 bottles of our Knob Creek.
It was 42, wasn't it?
40 bottles of our Knob Creek so that they could, because they got something planned out there.
We got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. Mark Sharmberg going to join us at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour. Good to have you along on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
You've got enough on your plate, so when it's time to reset, grab a Fresca. Bold citrus, zero sugar, zero caffeine. Just clean, crisp refreshment that never goes out of style, whether it's post-work, post-gym, or just a break from the noise. Fresca's got your back. Pick up a Fresca at your local retailer today.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
At Midwest Landscapes and Hardscapes, we know that the only way to do business is the fair way. That means honest quotes, no surprises, and work that speaks for itself. From the first sketch to the final sweep, we keep you in the loop because communication builds trust, and trust builds beautiful spaces. Midwest Landscapes and Hardscapes, fair, skilled, thorough. Just the way it should be.
Cars basically do three things. They go, they stop, and they turn. If any of those aren't working right, bring your Infiniti into Willis Infiniti and you'll get $50 off per axle brakes to help it stop, and you'll get $25 off an alignment to help it turn. Then you can go with peace of mind. Give us a call or visit us online at willisinfinity.com to schedule your appointment today.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along this morning. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, on the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you for dialing us in. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and of course, start leaving your comments in the comment section. Follow us on X at Rush Mornings. Like our Facebook page, The Rush with Travis and Ross, and follow us on Instagram, The Rush Radio Show. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. We do want to thank and talk about the Iowa Lottery. Of course, we do the Black and Gold Rush from the Iowa Lottery studios. And every week during the Rush Radio Show, Ross, we're going to do the weekly woohoo. The weekly woohoo.
I could have saved my Max Johnson story for my weekly woohoo. Maybe somebody will bring it up. See, that's the type of stuff we get to bring these stories to the table. And then on Friday, somebody gets to say, hey, I'd like to reheat Tuesday's dish and present it for my weekly woohoo.
Yeah. Yeah. But with the weekly, we have a prize to give away. And this week's prize pack includes Scratch, Match, and Win Jurassic World and Iowa Blackout Scratch tickets, plus some Mega Millions free play coupons. Mega Millions is in like the 300 million range right now. The prize pack is valued at $90. And don't forget, all these games are part of Iowa Lottery's Play It Again promotions, where you can enter your non-winning tickets into your VIP club account for a second chance to win prizes. This could be cash up to $100,000, a trip to Hawaii, or to football games and more. Just go to iowalottery.com for details. And Ross, if you're not a VIP, sign up for free today at iowalottery.com/VIP and become an Iowa Lottery VIPer. That's good.
Don't you think that it just feels good to say it? Feels good. I'm a VIPer.
Yeah.
Man, that is a great scene behind you with that pool. It does look nice. Now, here's the deal, Trav. A lot of people are upset. I saw somebody. I'm assuming that this is what they're referring to. So anyway, Brooks said he would buy us a dinner at Prime in Providence if you jumped in the pool. Yeah, he said no. He said he'd buy us a dinner at Prime if you jumped in the pool. And I assumed that was what Mr. Jingrov was saying when he said, "Wish we still had player loyalty." Me too. If Travis were loyal, he'd just jump in. Then we'd be loyal to the team here. Dusty says, "Get your ass in that pool for that offer."
See, I don't know if Brooks is serious.
Oh, yeah. So here's the deal. Here's the other thing. I just noticed on Twitter there's actually a poll up from an account called Blue Ribbon Bacon Festival. I don't know who that is. BR Bacon Fest says, who thinks Travis should jump in the pool at the end of the show? Don't be a blank. And right now, 100% of the votes are on yes.
Like 2 votes?
One vote. No, I'm the one that voted. But yeah, but right now, 100% of the votes are on yes. That's Tyler's
a 3-foot pool. So if I jump in, I'm.
So, dude, wait a minute. So you only got to get wet up to the knee? We could get Prime and Providence here. You won't even get wet up to the knee? 7 o'clock hour. Here we go. What do you got for us?
All I'm hearing right now is that Ross wants steak. That's what he wants. That's what he wants.
I just haven't been there yet, and it's Dom's new place, and I haven't enjoyed it yet. So I need to. Anyway, I know you got a lot of fun stuff here. So let's get to it.
I really don't. Did you see the Trevor Story home run last night?
I did not. See, you sent a bunch of stuff on the rundown, so don't say you don't have some fun stuff, because I know you got some fun stuff for us today. I did not see this Trevor Story home run. What's going on here?
So Boston is playing Cleveland last night. Trevor Story hits a shot down the right field line at Fenway. You know it's a short porch.
Pesky's pole.
Fenway. Yeah. So what happens is it goes in the corner. The right fielder for Cleveland goes off his glove. It's like in his glove. It goes off his glove and then hits the foul pole. The original call is a foul ball. However, they went to the video replay. And they ruled it a home run. It never cleared the fence. But
it hit the pole.
It hit the pole.
Home run. Home run. You hit a long fly ball down the right field line. It bounces off the foul pole. It's always been the joke. Why is it called foul pole when it hits it? It's fair. I'm watching it right now.
If you're the right fielder, you're frustrated by this.
He knew right away. As soon so ball hits his glove, hits the pole, falls back into his lap in the field of play, and you see him instantly shrink. Go, crap. Yeah, that's a home run. That's wild. That's pretty cool. It's amazing that hasn't happened more often, honestly, with that short of a porch and how often you get those pop flies down the right field line like that in that area. I mean, that's that dead man's zone where first, second, because that's Pesky's pole is like, what is it?
It's like 290?
No. Way less. Way less. Gee.
Quick investigation here at Pesky's pole in Fenway Park.
Oh my gosh. Come on, Ross.
Ross pulling it together, doing the quick investigation.
No, not. Failing.
The Google machine. I guess I've never seen anything like that. That's why I was kind of like, oh, wow.
Oh, man, it says it's 302? No. Apparently 302. A lot further than I thought. Okay, whatever. No, I didn't see that. That's an interesting one. I'm kind of shocked that doesn't happen more often. Do you remember the Jose Canseco off the head home run?
No. Why do I not? I'm
Jose
sure
Canseco.
Go, okay.
Dusty just said that. Dusty just had the exact same memory. Fly ball to right field. This is Jose Canseco in his clown years. He's with the Rangers. He's not 1988 Jose Canseco anymore. He's not Bash Brother Jose. He's starting to get goofball Jose Canseco. Fly ball to remember when they put him into pitch and he like tried to throw knuckleballs and stuff. He was just a goofball. He's playing right field. High fly ball gets hit to him. It's a can of corn. He gets underneath it. He's going back towards the track, puts his glove up, but as he's getting towards the track, he takes his eye off the ball and looks towards the wall, misses the ball. It bounces off the top of his head and over the fence.
But that one at least went over the fence. This one last night hits the foul pole, and the right fielder grabs the ball again, and you're right, he knew it, but it's like it was in your glove, hit the foul pole, and then the ball's literally in your hand, and you're like, that's a home run? If I'm a fan, I'm probably even confused about that a little bit.
The fans on the video, even there's like a 12-year-old kid, and he's like, hey, that hit the pole. That's a home run. I think some of the fans are right there knew right away. That's a cool one. I didn't see that very, very interesting thing to happen there. You had you had another one on what's the story with the Florida State fine?
So what happened was Florida State beat Alabama over the weekend, and in July, Commissioner of the ACC Jim Phillips instituted a fine system for storming the field. So Florida State has the honor of being the first school in the ACC fined for storming the field. It applies to football, men's basketball, and women's basketball. And so Florida State stormed the field after a win against Alabama. And that's understandable, right? I mean, Florida State won 2 games last year. You've got Alabama in town, and you're looking for something. So they stormed the field, and they were fined $50,000, which is not much. I mean, now in the SEC, it's $500,000 right away. But they become the first school to face the fine of the ACC. If they do it again, they get fined $100,000. I think what we're starting to see is these fines are not deterrents. They're just not. If it's worthy of a field rush, if it's worthy of a storm rush, fines are not deterrents for students to come on the field. I mean, you can fine them all you want, but that's not going to stop people from doing this. Now, this was worthy of a field rush.
All right. Amen. Amen. $50,000 to me, I actually don't mind this fine. And I think I could be talked out of it. I want to be clear about this. I'm not putting my foot in the sand here. But you want to do something to try to deter it, right? You want to have some, but I hate the $500,000 fine. That just because then I want to go, well, who's getting the money? What do you mean $500,000 to who? For what? 50 grand. And I still want to know where I still have the question about where that money goes and what the $50,000
for
the
ACC, it goes to like a postgraduate
scholarship program.
So they're putting the money.
They're putting the money
into a place where you can
get post scholarship.
What they do is they're putting the money in some place you can't bitch about it.
True.
Just put the money in some place they can't complain. You're the bad guy if you complain about where the money's going.
Who was it? We talked about it last week. Kansas State or who was it? The 3-minute countdown.
3-minute countdown
on the scoreboard. We just talked about this. And I forget
who
what school it was.
I'm drawing a blank too, man.
Man. 3 minutes to get off the field. 3 minutes. I wonder if you had to approve that with the conference and to say, hey, we're going to do a 3-minute countdown. We're going to try to get everybody out here, and then you can storm the field. But again, storming the field is a reactionary thing. It's like it's in the moment. You wait 3 minutes, it's going to be like, do we want to go out there now?
And I've always tried to tell you this, there isn't really a formula for it. It's not like, well, they were ranked 11th and we're only supposed to storm the field when they're ranked top 10, or and Travis, I think you've been guilty of this in the past of it wasn't really an upset. You were favored, or you know what I mean? No, that's not the way. When you're at a game, there's no math involved with field storming. It's emotion. It's in the moment. It happens. And yeah, the idea of 3 minutes. You know what it reminds me of, Travis? I remember one time at Kinnick, and this would have been 20 years ago, but I bet somebody else that's listening will remember this. It was a non-conference game against a directional Michigan school or something, and during the fourth quarter, they made a weird announcement. The Hawks are winning 35-7, and they come on the PA system and they say, students, please be aware that at the conclusion of today's game, the band will be using the facilities, so please do not storm the field. What? Guess what happened, Travis? Guess what the kids did?
They stormed the field.
Of course they did. They stuck around to storm the field. They were probably leaving, and they heard that, and they were like, screw the band.
Yeah, where I was critical of a storm field was when I think it was Iowa State beat West Virginia several years ago. And Iowa State was favored, even though West Virginia was ranked. It was one of and they won quite handily. I was like, you were favored. The game was over. And I was critical of it. At that point. That was one of those where I was like, do you storm it at that point? Were you ever part of a field storming at Kinnick Stadium?
I don't think I was at games where fans stormed the field. We were far enough up that I don't ever remember going on the field. I might be wrong about that because, again, part of those memories are fuzzy.
Out of age?
Yes.
Or
yes. Let's just, yes. Clouded with malted hops.
Did you
let Carrie is right. Carrie says the same thing. She says storming during the Ohio State game win was amazing. They even made an announcement before the end of the game not to storm the field, and we did it anyway. When they make the announcement, that is like blowing the horn.
It's temptation. Tell somebody not to do something, they're going to do it. It's human nature. You know what? I want to have a little extra time with Mark Sharmberg.
Can I get one rabbit hole in before we get to Mr. Sharnberg? And I want to call him Coach Sharnberg. Is that just my instinct? When we get him on, we'll ask him if it's just Mr. Sharnberg, Coach Sharnberg.
Or just Mark.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things. All right, this is from NBC News from the weekend. This is about an Army football player. His name is Larry Pickett Jr. Have you seen this story at all, Travis?
No.
Is any of this ringing a bell yet? Dude, buckle up. This is from NBC News. A college football player and his father made a life-saving play over the weekend when the family drove by a fiery car crash in upstate New York. Larry Pickett Jr. is a safety for the U.S. Military Academy's football team. He and his father pulled a man out of his car as flames were burning his white sedan, according to the video posted to social media by his father. Larry Pickett Sr. credited his son for the save in a post on Instagram, though they both appeared to have carried the man out of the fire. Just after midnight, I watched in awe as my son, Larry Pickett Jr., ran towards a burning vehicle, ignoring the downed power lines, crackling around it. With immense courage, he pulled a man to safety, saving his life from a fiery fate. Buckle up for an American hero story. A kid that plays for the Army football team is driving home with his dad from the football game, sees a car on fire with power lines around it crackling, and races into it to save the man's life. I think I got a new favorite college football player. Like, that's this type of stuff that should be on. I mean, I'm not, and I love ESPN. They do a wonderful job, but aren't those the type of stories that should be like, hey, by the way, true American badass?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Some guys made some great tackles, and some dudes made some amazing throws. And then a dude saved someone's life on the way home from a game. And here's the video of it. Isn't that super cool?
That I would do that.
I would have believed that I would do that,
but I don't know if I would.
I don't know if I would,
dude. Who knows? It's impossible, it would just be your ego sitting here saying, "Oh, I'm with you." My gut says I would call 911 and be scared. The Fort Montgomery Fire Department posted images of the scene on Facebook, saying they responded to the incident that the car had struck a utility pole and became fully engulfed in flames.
Wow.
So yeah, the videos are online on social media. It is wild.
We're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break. We come back. Mark Sharnberg from Iowa United is going to join us. I'm looking forward to this interview. We're going to break a little bit early because we're going to spend a little more time with Mark. Lots of questions to ask. And it's coming up next. A fascinating story about this prep school and the facilities it has. And we'll have that conversation with Mark when we come back. On the Rush Radio Show, powered by
Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian. I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian. Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel. Spend $20 to get a wooden nickel. Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge. $5.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20. I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25. Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25. Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hi, I'm Josh Romick, Service Manager at Willis Lexus, and I want to take a moment to share our smoking hot deals we got going on for the month of August. Right now we got a 20% discount on brake pads and rotors, and also a 50% discount on alignments with the purchase of 4 new tires. That's a $90 value. And don't forget to ask about our Lexus Tire Price Match Guarantee. Give us a call to schedule or visit us online at willislexus.com. Thank you for watching and stay cool.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the RushRadio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality home-cooked meal?
You know, the kind Mom used to make. Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the champagne of bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Hey, it's Marion over at Land Rover of Des Moines. With all those summer miles and any last-minute road trips you have before school starts, come on down and get an alignment for $179.95 and $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or schedule online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
Rush, strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along this morning. We've been talking about this all morning long. And if you haven't seen some of the previews on KCCI, on WHO TV, or on YouTube, Iowa United started its school year this year. It's a prep school, a basketball prep school. And think IMG Academy, think like Oak Hill Academy, but this is like on steroids. And I saw this last week, and I reached out to Mark Sharmberg and said, hey, would you be interested in coming on the show and talking about this? Because it's fascinating. And he joins us now from his office. Good morning, Mark. How you doing?
Good morning, Mark. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good this morning.
We're doing really well. So let's start up front. Is it? I want to call you coach, but I think that's just the affiliation to it. You're shaking your head right away. Is it just Mr. Sharmberg?
I'm not a coach.
Okay.
Just Mark.
Okay. So then I have 1,000 questions, Trav. Is it okay if I just kind of dive in? Because I'm kind of ignorant about a lot of this stuff, Mark. So you're going to have to walk me through some very, very basics. Okay. What exactly is a prep school? Because I watched the YouTube video and I noticed you guys have some academic requirements and some academic facilities, and it sounds like you guys are starting with a grade 12 curriculum. So I'm just going to start with, what is a prep school?
So that's a very good question. A prep school, typically, especially in a sport like a hockey sport or basketball, it really is more of a flexible schooling option so that you can train during the day and give you the necessary, coaching and skills that you need for whatever sport. For us, it's basketball. Iowa United is a prep school. We're also an AAU program, but I would say we're more than that. We're a year-long development program. So I almost liken us more to a European academy. In Europe, they don't tie scholastics to sports. And so when you're in high school, you can go professional. You have professional contracts. Athletes are contracts are being bought and sold and traded at the high school level, the college level, and also the adult level. And so when we actually started as an AAU program. We halfway through our first AAU season, which we just completed our second AAU season, we decided to go year round, and that's when we added the prep school. So we do have a prep school, we do have an AAU program. But we're a year-long, I would say, an elite professional high school boys basketball program.
Okay, now you just threw the word professional in there. Can we talk about that? Because in this new NIL world, are these young athletes, and can we say young men? Is it just men's basketball that you're focused on right now? Okay, so these young men that are coming in, they're already being compensated in some way? They're already signed contracts through like Nike? Or when you say professional, can you elaborate on what makes them?
So I think that means several things. One is we're looking for those that want to be professionals in basketball. So
okay, thank you. Sorry.
College is not the college level is not amateur anymore, right? With NIL, it's really professional now. And so the athletes that we're looking for, they want to make a career either in college or at the NBA level or in professional in Europe and other countries. I'd say to answer the question with NIL deals, some of these sponsored by Nike. Some of them are already signed with agencies like Rock Nation. We just received an athlete from Rock Nation. And some of them will receive NIL deals, even in high school. So it starts early for these guys.
Okay, so and I apologize. Thanks for meandering with me through this conversation, because I had some pre-planned stuff, but I like this a lot better. All right, so you got, because I was under the impression I'd read somewhere or seen something somewhere that gave me the impression that that Iowa United was somehow a Nike affiliation, but that's not necessarily the case. These individual athletes are they signed with like a Rock Nation or maybe a Nike, and then you are finding these athletes like on the AAU circuit in like the 15U range, something like. I mean, can you explain to me how are these athletes getting onto your radar? And then I want to go back because I got so much stuff about how this all came about. So anyway, how do the athletes get onto your radar if it's not necessarily a Nike affiliation or something like that?
So I'll kind of take it from the beginning. So we have a few 8th graders, mostly our and just to clarify too, we only have 24 spots as a program. And we capped it at 24 because we want to pour everything we have into 24 athletes, and we don't want to water it down like a lot of programs. So a lot of programs like IMG, you mentioned, their top team doesn't pay, but then their next 7 do. And that's how they pay for their top team. For us, we didn't want to water down anything that we're doing as far as our development program. And so we capped it at 24 athletes. And so on average, we have 6 athletes per grade, from freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. And when we're recruiting not only for the prep school, which we have 2 teams, our varsity, which is Team Black, our orange, which is JV, but then we're also recruiting for the next summer, our AAU program, which has 15U, 16U, and 17U. That's why we have a good mix through the 4 grades. And this is our first year recruiting. The first year, I basically took over a prep school that was in Canada that was going on for 5 years. And so a lot of the athletes came down with that prep school. And so this is really our first year recruiting. And what we're finding is that at the lower grades, it's mostly international athletes. And so we're recruiting in Africa. We got 6 different countries represented in Africa. We're recruiting out of Canada, where this prep school is from. I think we've got 3 different provinces in Canada. We've got somebody from Australia that's coming in, hopefully this week, by the end of the week. We're starting to open up Europe. And the reason for that is because there's not a lot of U.S. families that want to send their freshman, their sophomore to a year-long, basically boarding school. And there's just a lot of opportunities in the U.S. But when you get outside the U.S., there's just not as many opportunities. And so families are willing to send their athletes to these type of programs.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Trav. Sorry.
Does it cost to go to school there? I mean, is there a tuition? How much does this cost a family to send somebody to Iowa? Because I know IMG costs money. This is a business, I assume. So what's tuition at Iowa United?
So all the athletes that are at Iowa United are fully funded. So we're investing about $150,000 per athlete per year. That's what it costs. Right now, I'm fully funding this program, but in year 3, I'm looking at opportunities to increase revenue. Right now, we have 0 revenue, so anything would be an increase. And my goal is to break even. So I don't necessarily need this program to make money, but I would like to get as close to break even as possible. And so there's a few strategies that we'll do, but I want to be careful that none of the strategies impede in our mission, which is to develop these athletes. So
let's go back to the very, very beginning of this. You're an Iowa guy, right? I mean, I've been able to find out a little bit about you, not much. You're an Iowa guy, and you had were you in pharmaceuticals? Is that fair?
Yeah. So our family business, my father started the business about 41 years ago. We're right on the other side of the, just south side of the airport. Cateco is a medical manufacturing business that really concentrates on medical device. And then we have Surmasis, which is on the pharmaceutical side. We're a contract manufacturer, so we don't own the product. Our customers own the product. We own the process. And so you'll never see our name on the product. We don't handle the marketing or the sales of the product. We don't have a single customer in Iowa, but a lot of our products that we manufacture end up in Iowa through our customers selling back into Iowa. I'd say probably 60% of our business is in the U.S. and 40% of it is outside the U.S.
Okay, because people first are going to say, where did all this, where'd the money come from to be able to fund all of this? Now, but you did say something there, Mark. You did say you're making an investment here. Can you explain to us, when you talk about eventually in a couple of years breaking even, so the income eventually will just come from tuitions, or the income will, when you say it's an investment, explain that element of it.
So it's an investment into these athletes, into their future, basically. How do
you get your return is my question.
So the return, so for us to have revenue opportunities, for example, one of our strategies is to increase our school. So we do have a school. It's fully accredited. We're looking at going through the accreditation process right now for our online platform. And so we have this fully accredited, and it has CVIS, which is the I-20 process, which is for international athletes. And so what I'm looking at doing is offering this academic platform to other prep schools that are smaller, that are, they're out. Most of these small prep schools are outsourcing to a certain platform. So we're going to be able to outsource, or we're going to be able to offer this platform probably at a lower cost. And we're also going to open it up to other Iowans, for example, other students that may want flexible schooling. Say they are a gymnast or they're in baseball or something like that, and they just want extra time to train. And so we're going to try to open up the school. That's one. Right now, we're working on a documentary with Mike Tolan, who did The Last Dance with Michael Jordan. They did a Sizzle, which I learned what that was. That's basically a commercial. And they actually started filming our first few weeks in operation. And I think this week or next, they have a meeting with ESPN, after that Netflix. And so if we can land a documentary, then that opens up the door to sponsors. So that's another one. We'll be doing fundraisers. And there are some athletes, it's not a requirement, but there are some athletes that will represent, and then we'll get a piece of the NIL action that they are going to be making. So we do not make any of our athletes sign contracts. And then another thing in our program is that just because you're in our program, the athletes have to earn the next year.
Ooh.
So if I get a sophomore, if I get a freshman, their goal is to try to make it to the next year. And I would say the hardest jump is going to be between the sophomore and junior year when they go from JV to varsity, because now they're competing with U.S. athletes, a lot of these international athletes. So, there's really three things I feel like it takes to be great. First, it takes talent, right? And these athletes have a high ceiling. They have a lot of potential. What we're providing is the opportunity. So if there's anything that we can provide that will help them along this journey, we're going to provide. And the last piece, though, is really their drive, right? It's their work ethic. And so that's why we kind of want to start introducing the idea of pressure for these athletes. Because at the college level, and so a little bit about kind of handling the situation.
Trav, you got a question here? Because I've got a few others. But if you got one, go ahead.
Well, your facilities are absolutely phenomenal. I guess my question is, did you go around to other colleges and see what they were doing? I mean, it's a paradise. It's paradise. How did you come up with the vision? Obviously, you're a serial entrepreneur. Where'd you get the idea for all this?
Well, that's a loaded question. So I'd say the original idea really originated with a couple years ago. I've got 3 children myself. I've got a daughter who's a sophomore in college. I've got a junior and a freshman that's in the program. And so I was brainstorming with my wife, coming up with business ideas that, after my children would go to college and graduate, that they may come back and do something different than joining the family business. I didn't want them to feel like they had to join the family business. And my thought was, is if I came up with an idea that they rejected, then, it means maybe they really do want to come back to the family business. So I really kind of wanted to tempt them away. And if they really wanted to stay the course, then they really want it. Right. And when you study family businesses, you kind of see that by the third generation, by the fourth generation, they start to falter. Right. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And so, that's really the idea. It was for my oldest son, my middle child, and he loves basketball. And so I thought of doing an AAU program that he could come back and run, once he graduated. Well, the AAU program that he was in, mention names, was kind of falling apart. And so my wife said, if you're going to do that idea, let's do it while he can still benefit from it. And so I was given to eat it. This thing. And so in a couple months, I get a program together, and I had to put the teams together, come up with a name, the branding. It was a lot of work in a couple of months. And it was really the idea of development. If you guys know anything about the AAU model, it's kind of a broken model. And AAU programs have a lot of pressure to join the highest level circuit they possibly can. In order to do that, you have to put all-star teams together. Well, 2 out of the 3 months for the AAU season is through school. So you do practice. You might practice. Some of these programs we practice once a month. Some of these other programs on the weekends. And so you really skip out on the development. And so the requirement for AAU to be within an hour's drive. Because we're going to have daily practice and performance. And it was really in the middle of that we asked ourselves, if we're going to really do this, we got to do it year round. Because a lot of the investment athletes will get lost if they stop the training. And that's when we decided to go year round, and that's when we took over the prep school that was in Canada, which we end up, instead of hiring consultants, we hired full-time staff, and we bought the facility. We designed the front half, which is done. So the total facility is 73,000 square feet. The front half, which is on the video, is 36,500 square feet. The back half is under construction right now, which has 6 4-bedroom apartments. It's got a 3,500 square foot house. It's got 4 classrooms, 6 offices. It's got a larger performance center, and it's got a full recovery center. It's got a cafeteria, a player's lounge, laundry center. So that's all being built in the second half. And then we'll be able to move in. My wife and I and our family is going to move into the house. We're going to be taking care of these boys. We designed a house because if it wasn't us moving in there, we'd want a family that would move in there to take care of these boys. Because again, at the end of the day, these are still high schoolers. These are not, these aren't college level athletes. These are high schoolers, and so it kind of goes beyond basketball. It's almost like we adopt these athletes, to be honest with you, as family. So,
who will your competition be? Will you play ING Academy and things like that, or do you know who you're going to be playing this fall?
So in our first season, we were in the grind session, which is an independent league. And I would say they're the second best league you can be in. And there's a lot of Adidas schools, Under Armour, you name it, New Balance type teams in that league. This year, we're going to be in the Nike EYBL Scholastic. And this is the first year Nike owns that league outright. So in years past, they partnership with another company. That contract came due, and Nike wanted to control the league themselves. And what I was told by Nike is that the EYBL brand for Nike is becoming so big that the business side of Nike is now jumping in besides the basketball side. And so what they're doing is they're going to go year round with the brand. So they have EYBL Scholastic for the school side, and they have EYBL for the AAU season.
And real quick pause, Mark. Okay. Real quick pause. EYBL, is that like European youth?
No, it's Elite Youth Basketball League.
Elite Youth. Okay, thank you. Okay.
And so that brand for Nike is becoming really, really big. And So we'll be playing other Nike schools. They increased the league from, I think last year they had 11 or 12 teams. Now they're up to 20. IMG actually dropped out because they're Under Armour. And so they're no longer allowed in that league. And so we're going to be playing other Nike schools like Mount Verde, Sunrise, Link. And so you got all one of the schools. And there's 2 divisions of 10. And then we've been linked with Sunrise. So every year we travel to each other's home stadium to play each other. So this year we're going to go to Sunrise, and then Sunrise will come to us. February 17th through the 20th, I believe, is the date. We're going to be hosting an event here in town where we'll have 4 other Nike schools come up and play here. And for the most part, we'll travel outside. And then outside that league, we'll play in other, like the Border League is a real popular basketball tournament that happens preseason. And there'll be other preseason type events. And then, the ultimate will be the Chipotle National. So that's the national championship for high schools. And last year, they only accept 10 teams. So they take the top 10 teams. Last year, 8 of them were Nike. The other 2 were other brands. And so the league that we're in is definitely very, very competitive. It's the best league that you can be in the world for high school.
Is this something when you host that EYBL event, is that something that people will be able to purchase tickets to and come watch and see? I mean, will you have games in Iowa that people are going to be able to come watch?
Yes. To date, we hosted a few events last year, and we don't charge for admission. We don't have a lot of seating, to be honest with you. So right now we're leasing out the Hawks Nest in Urbandale. And so we'll bring in some stadium seating and things like that. Most of the games are live streamed, so most people watch through the live stream, to be honest with you. And then as the next project after the back side of our facility, it was a warehouse and I couldn't control the column spacing. But in the video, you'll see our 2 main courts with a column in between. So one of my next projects is to remove that column and then do a college style court that runs the opposite way. And then we could actually host games in our facility. So that's kind of the next project. And then the next project after that is we bought 11 acres that runs outside the backside of our facility. And we want to do a whole outdoor space. So we're going to have an outdoor performance center. We're going to have outdoor classrooms, movie theater, eating area, ball fields. These athletes, we want them to be outside as much as possible. So 9 months out of the year, they'll be able to spend as much time outside as inside. And so that's kind of our 4th project.
Mark, how many college coaches have been to see your facility, and what are their impressions?
So that was the number 1 audience that I wanted to sell off the bat. So it wasn't Nike. It wasn't the shoe companies. It was the college coaches, because this is really for them. What I see is that we're de-risking their investment into the high schooler. So the high schooler is really the biggest loser when it comes to college sports with the transfer portal and the NIL deal. And so they're being overlooked. A lot of colleges aren't even looking at high schoolers anymore. And so if you're going to invest 100, 500,000, a couple million into an athlete, it's a safer bet to go with a college athlete than it is to a high schooler. And so our program is set up, it's more stringent than a college program. Our daily schedule, and it's year round. And so we're really de-risking these athletes for the college coaches. And so when they come in, last September, we had 28 coaches come through just in a couple weeks. It's kind of their live period. We've had John Calipari come through. We've had Houston's head coach, Arizona. Some of the Blue Bloods have come through. We're hoping that we get about 50 coaches in the next couple weeks this September. And a little bit of a cheat code for our AAU program. College coaches can't visit AAU programs, but because we're a school, even during our AAU season, college coaches can visit. So we constantly have coaches dropping throughout the year and looking at our players. But the last school year, the 28 coaches that came through, they came to look at our top talent, which is Arifon. He's ranked at ESPN 21 in the country, and he's the top center in the country. But we had 6 other athletes receive high major offers that these college coaches saw while watching our practice. And so that's really the point. Even if Arafon's the top talent, I think Nike said it best with Caitlin Clark, the rising tide lifts all boats. And so these other athletes are getting a lot of visibility playing alongside of them. This last AAU season, we had 3 15Us receive high major offers. And that's pretty unheard of at that young age. And so Oregon offered a couple, Arizona State, and we've had a few others. And so, yeah, that was the first audience. And now the college coaches are actually starting to refer some of the players that they're recruiting to our program. And so it would be a great way to de-risk some of these athletes, and we're investing so much into the development of these athletes. Why wouldn't you want to send your top recruits to this program? And so that was the whole strategy. So everything that I've done to the facility, to the staff, all the money I've spent is to help me recruit, because I don't have a program unless I get some of the top talent in the country.
I was going to ask if there was some sort of advantage. I'm a Hawkeye fan. I'm a Des Moines kid. And most of our listeners are Hawkeye, Cyclone, Bulldog, Panther, basketball fans. I was going to ask if there is some sort of benefit to us. It would seem with what you just described there, just having a geographic proximity is going to be an advantage. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think there's an advantage. It's a little bit tough. We're really, I'm a Hawkeye fan. But when I started this program, I kind of had to step away from being a fan, right? And each of these athletes, some of these athletes we're guiding, and some of these athletes, the ones that already are signed with agents, so we're pretty flexible. Some of these athletes are guided by their agencies. Some of them have family members or handlers that are seeking help, and then some of these international athletes, we might do the entire process of trying to get them offers and make site visits and that kind of stuff. And so I can't be a fan. I just, these athletes, every college has different needs, different levels, depends on the year. Iowa might be looking for a point guard, for example, in a certain class. And so with only 24 athletes and only really 6 seniors, our job is to try to get these athletes as many offers as possible, so they have they have options.
Mark, because I ask really weird questions and I am intrusive like this, are you like 30, 40, 50 million into this? And are you interested in fully funding an internet radio station?
Well, that's a great question. So I'm somewhere in between 20 and 30 into this. By the end of the year, with the back half, I'm guessing I'll be in the 30s. My yearly budget's somewhere in the 3 million mark, and that's where with 24 athletes, we're just over. I use round numbers, 150,000 per athlete. I definitely think I've got a strategy on how to fully fund the yearly budget. Time will tell whether or not something that I can sell. Obviously, my facility and things like that. We hosted last year. I had the G League team, the Wolves team, practicing out of our facility, and the problem there is they just in the facility when our athletes are there, so we can't co-mingle. So when we just go year round, they had to go find another location to practice. When I was meeting with the GM of the actual Minnesota Timberwolves, this is where basketball is going. I think it's going to model more like Europe. And in Europe, some of these academies have all 3 levels. And so the head of the Timberwolves was like, "This is what I envision. We own someday. We own the high school program. We've got kind of a college program, which is the G League, and then we have the professional team." That's kind of where it was heading. Now, whether or not it'll get back on course or not, I'm not sure. But for us, this is just our way of giving back too a little bit. There's a ministry side. Our school. It's a year-long school, so we have trimesters. The summer trimester is really for life skills, finance, interview, doing driving lessons between senior year, our Bible class during the summer. So it's a little bit of a ministry, but and it's just giving back.
I didn't know that part of it. I would encourage people, Mark, to go check out we found the All Hail Cullen YouTube page. They did about a 25 minute breakdown of your facility. That was incredible. Thank you so much, Mark. We're going to stay in touch with you. And this has been fascinating. I'm really been fun to chat with you and learn more about this.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. And best of luck. And Ross and I want to come see your facility. So we're going to call you and say we want to come see it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Mark Sharmberg from Iowa United joining us on the Rush Radio Show. Fascinating stuff. An interesting business model, an interesting way that he's a futuristic guy, meaning you have to think down the line the way this stuff is going to go. I know people are probably going, you're crazy for investing that much money. I think he's seeing something that none of us can see. He's a futuristic guy.
What's your company? What's your family business? Well, we don't necessarily own stuff. We own processes. So what did you do here? Well, I created a process that I'm going to own and I'm going to sell to other people. How are you going to make your money back? Did you just pay attention? I've created a process that I think is going to be successful, and I'm going to sell this process to people. That was really cool, dude. I'm super glad we did that, Travis. Not what I was anticipating. I kind of thought we were going to get a CEO, or more of a PR guy. Not a CEO is what I was trying to say. I thought we were going to get like a PR thing. That was great.
What I like is he's very transparent, meaning he told us what he invested. Most people don't want to say that, but when you're forefront, you're going, hey, this is what I've invested. This is what it means to me. I respect somebody who's willing to say, this is what it is. And yeah. I mean, a lot of people are going, that's crazy. But I think he's seeing something that none of us are seeing when it comes to NIL, when it comes to all this stuff on how to put a business model together and still bring it back to competing and giving opportunity. I'm anxious to learn more. I'm serious. I hope he takes it up on the offer that we get to go out there and see the place.
Yep, fun. Thanks for
all right, all right, buddy. We're going to try some things tomorrow to hopefully this internet connection. What I'm finding out is hotel internet connections are not the best, but you know what? They'll work in the end.
Imagine that.
And I'll be, no kidding. All right, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Enjoy your Tuesday. And thanks for listening to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Sean McFarland, Service Manager here at Mini of Des Moines. It's August, and while most of Iowa has shifted their attention to corn dogs and butter cows, us here at Mini of Des Moines are still focused on making sure your Mini is running properly and well maintained. Please give us a call or schedule your appointment online at miniofdesmoines.com.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking.
Looking for the perfect golf escape?
Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.